Jay, it seems like contemporary instrumental music is on a real groundswell these days. Where do you think things are heading for with fusion?
Well, I think fusion will continue to take in outside elements. I hope it will. I hope it changes and evolves. So I'm getting a little tired of some of it. And I truly hope that the public continues to support it. Up to now, they've been really great supporters of the music and have kept the music surviving.
You've toured all over the world, Jay. Where are your favorite places to play?
I'd still say the United States is my favorite place to play, but we get received very well all over the world. Places that stand out are Switzerland, Montreux, Switzerland, the south of France. Japan has always received jazz very well. Buffalo, the original place. And you know, oddly enough, this year we played in Istanbul and got an incredible reception. So, you know, it could happen anywhere.
Have you played Russia yet?
No, we haven't. We haven't played the Soviet Union.
Why do you think people of the other cultures of the world love American music, especially jazz?
It seems that great music comes out of places where you have great ethnic diversity. And certainly here in the United States, we're blessed with having people from all over the world and from hundreds of different cultures, and that makes for a very rich musical stew. And I think that that's one of the reasons our music is so great, and one of the reasons the world has come to appreciate it so much.
Jay, we hear you're a mean baseball player, and many musicians are serious fans. Why is there such an affinity between musicians and professional athletes?
Oh, I think we're all performers. Gee, I don't know, but if I had a choice, a true choice, I'm 5'5" tall, I'm not really an athlete, but if I had a true choice, I'm not sure whether I'd play saxophone or shortstop, honestly. I didn't have a choice.
How many records has Spyro Gyra released?
13, and we have a 14th in the pipeline now.
Jay, who was the greatest influence in your life in music?
My father, but as far as
the greatest influence in my life in music.
Sure. Ready, go.
Well, the greatest influence in my life musically was my father. He was the man that turned me on to jazz and turned me on to the people that were also my influences, like Bird and Miles. But I got to give my dad credit.
Jay, does your appearing here at the Newport Jazz Festival have any special meaning for you?
Absolutely. When I was 16 and 17...
Can you start that with playing here at the Newport has special meaning?
Sure, because, ready, go.
Playing here at Newport has got special significance to me because when I was young, I was 16, 17, I was in the audience, and it helped turn me on to jazz and a lot of great music, and being part of it is incredible. It's the greatest.
Jay, you've been successful in many musical realms. To you, what are the important differences, if there are any, big differences between pop and jazz?
Well, the biggest difference for me between pop and jazz is the sophistication of the music and the technical mastery that one has to have play jazz as opposed to pop, but any musical form that's done with sincerity and emotion has the ability to...
Ready?
Give me 5 seconds of roll-up time.
Say again?
Give me 5 seconds
to roll up.
Okay, go for it.
Ready? Okay. Jay, we watched your performance here this afternoon. It was certainly a smash in front of 10,000 people. What goes through your head when you're playing a concert like this?
Well, if I can get beyond the mundane, like what the acoustics on stage are like, or how I feel, and the music starts happening and the audience starts responding, absolutely nothing goes through my head. And I stop thinking, and I just start enjoying myself for hopefully an hour, and that's a rarity.
Jay, one other question. The fusion movement. How do you feel about the electronic influence in the jazz? Many of the old-timers feel it's bad news that jazz has got to come from the heart and the soul, and if it doesn't work that way, it's not real jazz. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a complicated question.
I hope so.
If what you're talking about is having computers play the music instead of people, I concur wholeheartedly. Jazz needs improvisation, it needs people interacting, and I'm dead set against it. If what you're talking about is using electronic instruments, if they're used tastefully, they're terrific, and it no more makes sense to deny the electric guitar than to have denied the piano in favor of the harpsichord. But unfortunately, a lot of people take electronic instruments and they don't play tastefully, and I regret that a lot of artists that use electronic instruments don't have that taste that traditional jazz people playing traditional acoustic instruments have had. But it's not impossible.
Just one or two more, Jay. As a young man, you remember when
Hold the plane, please.
Can you take a quarter step to your right? I've got a little bit of weird background behind me. That's great.
You remember back when you were in high school, when you first became aware of music, when you made this decision in your life to go into the music business? How it all started? Remember when it all started for you?
It was way before high school. The first memory I have of being dedicated to music, I was 12 years old, and I had to have braces. And my teeth were being pushed out by practicing saxophone a lot. And the orthodontist said, "You have to play trumpet, not saxophone." And I remember telling him I'd rather have crooked teeth than give up the saxophone. So that's my first memory of being dedicated.
What's ahead for Spyro Gyra?
Gee, more of the same, I hope. It's been a great 10 years we've gone through, and I hope we play more adventurous music. I hope our music evolves, but more than anything else, I hope that people continue to love it like they do.
When it's all over with, what do you want us to say about Spyro Gyra, Jay Regenstein?
Oh, that Spyro Gyra was one link in a long chain called the jazz tradition, and that we influence people positively to be part of jazz, and that we in fact have been considered part of that great tradition.
Jay, you're a young man. You're only 10 years young, you say, in the business. What is your advice to young people coming into jazz? What is your advice to young people that want to get into our business?
Well, I know, I could say the cliches, be true to yourself. You know, work hard, and opportunities are rare. When they come, stick your foot in that door and don't let them close it on you, because they may not come again. And better advice, I don't know if I can offer.
Good, cut. Good, thank you, Jay.
Thank
Good
you.
interview. Good, thank you again.